Hello and welcome to Games for Days, where we employ the twin sciences of wizardry and sorcery to make moving images appear on your screen. I'm Karma, and today I'm looking at deterministic lockstep in Path of Exile, the Awakening closed beta. For those of you who have not encountered this game, Path of Exile is a free-to-play single and multiplayer action RPG by Grinding Gear Games. In an earlier video I suggested that one of the biggest issues with the game is desync, where an incongruity can occur between the action taking place on your PC and the game state as it's playing out on the server. This is an issue that the developers have been working to address in the upcoming Path of Exile expansion, The Awakening, which is currently in closed beta. When building a character in Path of Exile, I have a tendency to make ranged characters. The problem with melee characters has always been that you're in the thick of it, surrounded by enemies, and so you need to be confident that what you're seeing is actually what is happening. You need time to react. Because you're up close to enemies, you're likely to collide with them, causing desync, and if you experience desync as a melee character, the impact is often fast and devastating. Here, I'm going to get a feel for the impact of Lockstep by fighting two pretty desyncy bosses with a melee character, first Brutus and then the Weaver. Deterministic Lockstep is Grinding Gear Games' answer to desync. In Lockstep mode, the client, on your PC, is forced to keep synchronicity with the server. This means on the one hand that what you see is what is happening. It also means that latency in communication between your PC and the Path of Exile servers could cause the game to freeze or stutter. The developers have suggested that deterministic lockstep should ideally be used where latency is less than 100 milliseconds. To help reduce latency, GGG have added more regional servers. I'm in the UK and using the London server with about 16 milliseconds latency. Okay, so here I'm fighting the Warden, Brutus, an Act 1 boss who's typically pretty desyncy. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever fought him without him warping, although this was much more of a problem before the Forsaken Masters expansion. I'm a little under-leveled and under-geared for this encounter, so when I get hit it does do a lot of damage. Brutus has a pretty big reach, so I get hit a lot, but crucially I didn't feel as though any of the hits were unfair, and I think that's an important point. An encounter is far more interesting and enjoyable in my view when it feels fair. I don't mind a difficult fight, so long as I can see that the damage I was taking was predictable and avoidable. I spend a lot of this fight trying to attack Brutus from the side or back and feel pretty confident that what I see happening is actually what is happening. Fighting Brutus as melee without lockstep, I would tend to move in, do some damage, eat some damage, use a flask and just keep on repeating that process. With lockstep there's far more scope to use movement offensively. It makes for a more interesting fight, and I think it opens up more possibilities for developers when designing and redesigning fight mechanics. This next fight is against the Weaver and is typically pretty desyncy, because you need to keep moving to avoid her projectile chaos damage and hard hitting physical hits. The difficulty is exacerbated by the Weaver's adds, which cause you, the boss, and the adds to desync, but not with lockstep. There's an example towards the end of this fight, where I managed to get myself pinned between some adds and the boss. My health gets pretty low, and is probably an occasion where without lockstep there would have been a desync death. Path of Exile is an excellent game, but it's one that's been hampered by desync. Some of us have grudgingly learned to deal with it to an extent, but it is, I would argue, a real barrier to the game's growth. The developers have answered this challenge with deterministic lockstep, and my view so far is that it is a success. There are still a few bugs to be squashed and wrinkles to iron out. For example, with lockstep on I was able to walk through obstructions like the undying blockage. It will also be interesting to see how lockstep performs in group play. What are your views on lockstep? Do you think this is a credible solution to desync? And is this what the game needs to expand its community? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, why not like, subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Karma, and thank you for watching.